Hey dear people, today I want to talk about triad pairs and how you can use them instead of scales to create some really modern and angular sounds. I'm going to break it really down for you step by step because this is a more advanced concept, but I'm going to show you how you can practice them and most importantly how you can apply them. So I have like 4 chord progressions with 4 different triad pairs for you prepared. There's also a PDF that you can download, and if you're a Patreon member you have access to all my PDFs, so check that out as well and let's get right into it. So what's a triad pair? Basically you have 2 triads, like an F triad and a G triad, and they don't have any common notes, and that's the definition of a triad pair. In the example I played those 2 triads over a G7 sus4 chord, and maybe you know this shape, you can really see how the F works in the G7 sus4 chord. And one thing that you can really do to practice triads is to play the triads in close position triads and move them across the fretboard like this. After you have checked out your close position triads like this, you can pick them and just record yourself a G7 sus4 loop and try to play those 2 triads on top of it. But if you want to play faster, it's going to be difficult very quickly to play horizontally like this. So maybe it's a good idea to try to play those triads like more in one position as far as that is possible. So I'm going to show you what I mean. Starting with the F major triad in the lowest possible note. And then we know from our shapes the next 3 notes are like, just we're playing it an octave lower. So we're playing F, triad, G triad. And now the shapes change all the time. If you're getting confused, you can always go back to your triads like this, and then you always know which note comes next. And now we have an inversion starting on the 3rd, again, then starting on the 5. And you can see we have a lot of different fingerings, also not so easy to play at times. So it's a very good technical exercise, and it's so different from practicing scales since we don't have the pattern of a scale, but we really have to think about the triad each time. So when I'm playing this, I'm really thinking like F, G, F, G, so that I'm not losing my place in this pattern. So with the triad pairs, I'm sticking to one fingering, one way of playing those triads, and then I'm just repeating this pattern so I get it really in my system. So I'm not improvising any triad pairs, just playing a pattern like this. Another very cool idea is to combine 2 minor triads, the C minor and the D minor triad. So basically I'm starting with a close position triad, again, just to have an orientation which notes would come next. Then I'm picking a place where I'm starting my sequence. This time I'm starting it really higher because I like to play in the higher registers of the guitar. It's much easier to be heard there, right? And I'm just again finding a pattern. This this time around I'm playing 60 notes and then the triad get displaced over the bars so that I don't lose the beat and still know where the 1 is. I'm counting out loud like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And then I know where I'm landing, right? Another very cool idea for a triad pair is to combine two major triads that are like a tritone apart. So let's pick a B major triad and an F major triad. And again, I can start by looking for the close position shapes. And the F and the B, I'm going to play it on a B7 to have sort of an altered sound. I have the B, which is just the triad, but the F7 on the B7 would be like the flat 9, sharp 11 and the flat 7. And this time around, I'm just picking a possible rhythmic figure, which is an 8 note and two 60 notes, like 1, 1 E, and 2 E, and 3 E. And I made a jam track for myself with session band, and I just programmed the app for 4 bars of B7 and 4 bars of E minor, and I just checked out where can I play it so I'm landing in the right spot on the E minor. And another super cool thing that you can do with the exact same pattern with the B and the F triad is to play it over a C minor chord. If you want to remember how you can get that sound, just think that C minor 7, F7 and F7 sus4 are closely connected. So you're thinking sort of 5 chord with a tritone substitution again, right? Like this time the other way around. I am really going to experiment with those triads. They're great for modal situation, right? Like a static chord, but you can also apply them to a lot of different musical situations. Just understand that those triad pairs, they work more like a blur. So if you play them fast and you repeatedly change between the two triads, right, then that's when you get the sound. If you just like pick two of those triads and play them in a line, that's fine too, but you won't get that blurry, cool sound that you hear with so many saxophone players when they're, for example, improvising over a tune like So What. So think about them as an arsenal of different sounds. There are lots of different sounds that you can create to sort of color the chords that are already there, and then afterwards going back to the sound and just changing between tension and release. That's it for today. I see you next week. Bye.